For this video we'll cover obviously bass synthesis and things to look for, little tips and tricks and methods of how I approach the bass making process, and then in another video we'll cover, you know, the external process in resampling and how to take the sound that you've made in Massive or whatever synth of choice a little bit further. So we'll start with a new sound. A couple of things we'll do is set the oscillators to restart via gate and put to mono legato, and for the third oscillator I'll change this to a sine wave and turn the amp down and the bypass up, and basically what this means is the sine wave will be running through the bypass and not going through the filters, distortion and any other effects that you've got in the patch. We'll take this down a couple octaves. There we go. So for the first oscillator we'll pick a waveform, duck organ. So when you're looking through your wavetables, it's good to sort of slowly move the wavetable position to sort of notice any characters it has at certain points. But if we change spectrum here to bend minus plus and do it again, and move the intensity dial as well, and drag it down, there's a bit where it changes from, I say, 2 o'clock to about 5. So if we add an LFO to this, and there we go, and put the sine wave. And now if we move the intensity dial as well, so we'll put a different LFO on this one and have it at a different sync, like that. Try that. So it's got a lot more movement now, and if we add some noise, I tend to like the paper noise. And now when we add distortion, it will grab onto all those top end frequencies and crunch them up and hopefully change the sound a bit more. So put some C tube on. The sort of paper makes it a bit more rough and ready than it would be without. We'll add another, say, a sine shaper, and we'll add LFO5 to the drive of C tube, so that as the LFO moves to its maximum point it's distorting it a bit more, and we'll stick LFO6 on the sine shaper. I'll put a dimension expander on to get a bit more width and fullness. I personally use the Vengeance M2S expander, as it gives a bit more of a solid side signal, but for this purpose we'll just use the dimension expander. And we've got a pretty dirty sound already without using filters, so we'll get into the filters now. Band reject always a good one. So same as the wavetable, you want to scan through slowly and notice anything about the sound as you. So if we put an envelope on this now, let's do something like that. These on full and a bit of attack. find when you're adding distortion and you're stacking it on, the top end will probably go a bit harsh, so keep your ear out for that and turn the high shelf down. If we send this now to another filter, try the comb. Hasn't really got a desired effect, so we'll try a band pass. We'll try a different type of LFO, the trusty Performer. Put it on there like that. If you hit the random button on the Performer, sometimes you'll find things holding the key. So I like this part here. Just cut it off here so it loops at this point. Now if we add the second oscillator and pick something, try this, pitch that down. And again, put a bend minus plus. Let's filled it out now. With the two waveforms going into the two lots of distortion, the filters. And then, once you've got something rigged up like that, you could then start changing LFO times, the shapes. So put on bending 1. And try LFO 6. And then what I'll basically do is export some audio from this patch that I've made and load it into a sampler, and in the next video we'll cover that. Enjoy.